Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Morgan Danielle, and today for you guys I have another storytime video. I know, another storytime, but I'm just trying to produce content, and I feel like my storytime is also a form of content, and just to get a laugh. Like, it's quarantine. Subscribe to my channel. You're bored, it's quarantine, you're in the house, you might as well look at my other videos while you're here. You might as well continue scrolling, because I got funny videos, I got makeup videos, I got it all here. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, don't judge my beret. I got a big head, so it runs in the family. So yeah, you can't really see it, but it's meant to be a beret. But yeah. So this story time is going to be about the time I was hanging out with this guy, and you know, our friendship took a weird turn, and suddenly I was in the middle of his relationship, essentially. So we're gonna name this guy Brick, and for the sake of this video. So I met Brick because we found each other on social media. Like, we were like friends on like Facebook or something, and Brick and I started talking or whatever. And this was really way back when I was first getting into college. So I was texting him or whatever, and you know, I already knew what he was on. And at that time in my life, I was really trying to just see what it would be like to be friends with a guy. So like, I took his friendship offer up, and we started chilling, kicking it, hanging. So eventually it started to move more towards like flirtatious. And like I said, I knew what he was on. Like, I knew that in the end, like, that was what was in his mind. So, you know, of course we kicked it, got to know each other a little bit, and then he was ready to do the do, and yeah, so we started forming a more romantic relationship, and we started messing. So Brick and I started messing for like 2 or 3 months regular. Like, I'm talking like, we see each other, we messing with each other, like, that's how we dealing. And we were always like using a condom, and that was our thing. Like, one thing I can say about Brick is that like, he was an adamant condom user as well as I at that time. So like, at that time, like, relationship or not, like, I wanted to use a condom, just period, with anyone. Like, I was not even open to the idea of in a relationship. Like, I was just like, hell fucking no. Considering I wasn't with Brick at the time, I felt as though like it was just best that's how we did it. So that was our thing. So I'm gonna tell you where the story takes its first crazy turn. I can tell that Brick is catching somewhat of a feeling for me, because at this point Brick is constantly hitting me up. Like, we went from like not texting like all the time to like Brick is blowing my phone up, and I'm sitting there like, this ain't how this works. This is the first part where Brick and I take a turn. I probably should have let Brick go at this point, but I was not at that stage yet in my womanhood where I had learned that when dudes do dumb things, you walk away. Like, you don't entertain it. You don't entertain it. If PSA, if you're watching this and you're entertaining some guy's dumb ass shit, stop. What are you doing, sis? What are you doing? She, he, they, them, whatever pronouns you go by, what are you doing? What are you doing? Exit stage left now. So yeah, the first time Brick did anything that should have like piqued me to like what was his idea about life was, by this point I was still in community college, still kicking it, but like, me and Brick had fell off or whatever, and I wasn't tripping, because at this point I was like, Brick was not my man. Like, Brick was not my man. I was comfortable with that. Like, he was not my, like, he wasn't the type of person I would actually be in a relationship with. Like, I think like a guy, and that like, there's certain types of guys that like, you only deal with them on like a friend or like maybe like a whole type level, and then you got the guys that you actually take seriously and you actually would be like a husband with. Like, if I talk to you and I'm actually trying to be with you, you actually mean something. I think you have value. You add something. Whereas if I just treat you as though like I don't even want to like text you back, like, yeah, that type of situation. So that's what me and Brick was on. I get a phone call, and they're like, hey, we want you to come down to the health department because someone has listed your name down for STD. And I'm like, oh,
no. Wrong chick. I'm like, man, we got the wrong girl.
She was like, no, I'm adamant.
So I'm like, well, there's only one person, and that's Brick. So I'm like, okay. I've been single since Brick. At that point, I wasn't even getting no play. I was working. This was back when I first got hired at my job. So I was too busy working. I was literally going to school and closing. So I didn't have time. Oh my God, there's so many people trying to ruin me from filming this video. But yeah, at this point in time, like, I wasn't really stressing on man. Like, I was over it. Like, I was like, Like, I had my guy friends. I had the guys that I was friends with, and they were like, you should be single. And I was like, I agree. My female friends were like, just be single, let's go out. I was like, yeah. So that was me. Brick. So Brick was like, so I go to the health department the next day because I was like, something wrong here. This isn't right. Like, like, I'm not understanding. So I go there, and you'll never believe this, but as soon as I walk in there, the first person sitting down in the chair is Brick. And so I'm looking at Brick like,
so when do you want to fight, now or after? Because it doesn't really matter when, but it's going to happen because this is where we're at.
Because why am I here? Why am I here, and why are you here? So I'm looking at Brick, Brick's looking at me, and we're looking at each other, and Brick just like, obviously whatever Brick was doing was already finished. Brick was out the door. So I go through or whatever, and they tell me like, you know, what I'm there for, and they test me or whatever, and I'm good. So I'm like, okay, great, I'm fine. You know, no harm, no harm, no foul. Like, I'm not. Like, I was just there. So, but it was just a red flag because that was my first indication that Brick was messing with other people. So it wasn't really like the fact that like I was there for that purpose. It was more so the fact that like this was the first time that it had dawned on me that Brick had messed with anybody during the duration of the time that we were messing, because Brick was always adamant that he wasn't. So at that point, that was really what was on my mind after, you know, everything had happened with my health. Like, once I made sure that my health was straight, as I'm leaving, I'm thinking to myself now, so Brick, what the fuck? Like, who have you been messing with alongside me? Because you wasn't telling me all that. Like, and I asked you to be straightforward. I was so pissed, sweetheart. I was so pissed that at that point, like, I was like, deading you. So I completely just blocked all his information. When I tell you, like, I blocked this man's email because I was like, yeah, it ain't even worth trying to get an explanation out of this man. Like, he can just kiss my ass at this point. So I was just like, okay, we're just gonna focus on me. Maybe I want to say a little bit later, I'm still in community college. Brick hits me up and is like, hey, you know, I'm gonna talk, da da da. So I'm like, what's up? Because I'm ready to cuss you out, and I've been waiting for this. So Brick is, you know, Brick is just honest about it, and Brick is just like, hey, like, I know exactly why you feel the way that you feel. I know exactly what you about to come off on me. Like I already expected all this. Like, I just want to be upfront and apologize for everything and just be straightforward about exactly what happened. So Brick breaks it down that he was also messing with this other girl at the time, and they had their little thing going on, and, you know, at some point they fell off, but he was really like seriously entertaining this girl. So I was just like his little homie, which that was cool with me, but I was just like, you had this girl, like, I don't know this chick, and I'm like, you put me in the line of fire, because what if she fights me because she thinks that I was trying to mess with you to be with you, and that was never my case, and I would have not been messing with you had I known you was messing with someone else. And so that was the case with them. So they was broken up, or they had broken off. She didn't want him no more, and Brick was just basically like, so can we just kick it and rebuild our friendship? And I'm at this point, you know, young and naive me, because don't give people second chances. I've learned that. Because some people change if they really genuinely care, and some people don't. And Brick is one of those people that honestly never changed. And I just grew not to give a shit. So Brick and I start hanging out again, and Brick wants to make it romantic again. So it becomes romantic again because I was young and naive. And we kicking it, doing our thing or whatever. And again, I started to notice he's catching feelings because he's wanting to be in my space. Like, keep in mind, like, I was not stressing him. I was not stressing Brick 1 inch. Like, I was just like, look, you know, you cool to kick it with whenever you hit me up, but like, other than that, like, I really don't care. Like, I didn't care if that man ate. I didn't care if that man slept. I didn't care if that man He was poor. I didn't care. Like, I didn't know his living situation. I didn't know nothing about him. Like, besides like the stuff that we learned as friends. But like, did I learn anything that like really like relationship wise? No. Did I learn what turns him on? No. Did I learn what type of chicks he wanted to marry? No. Did I learn if he wanted to get married? No. Did I learn if he wanted to have kids? No. Because it was none of my business. One day, like keep in mind, like after we got back cool, it got back to a point where we wasn't really speaking like that again, and I wasn't stressing him. But one day, you know, he was like, let's just chill and hang out. So I'm like, oh, okay, you know, we'll hang out, we'll see what happens. And so I go to see him. And so he offers to pick me up. So I'm like, I bet. Like, you know, I don't, you know, have a car, so bet. So he picks me up and we're riding, and he's telling me all of this BS about how like, he's like, cause you know, he was trying to play a girl and be like, oh yeah, this is like, you know, I ain't really into trans women. And I'm like, not the way you be after me. Not the way you be after me, baby. You into this one, cause you do too much for me. You do too much. You do too much. So in the car, I made him admit right then and there on the spot, cause I'm just like that he liked me, because I was like, don't play with me, because I would make you turn this car right the fuck around and take me back home, because you're not gonna play me. And he knew I had the money to Uber myself home if he didn't. So he was like, yeah, I ain't finna play with her, because I'm that type of chick that would get out your car and Uber myself back home, because I don't play no games. I'm like, chill, like, just be honest and admit that you like me, and that's just what it is. And he like, yeah, you know what, facts, like, I like you. You're a cool chick, you got a nice vibe. That's what it is. So I'm like, I already know. So he told me wasn't nobody gonna love him the way that I did. And I was just sitting there like, I don't know if I love you, but like, I mean, I guess I do ride hard for the people around me, and I guess you see that. But anyways, we pull up to the place where he resides, and now we're sitting in the car, and I'm already, you know, unbuckling my seat, grabbing my purse, you know, I'm like, let's, you know, get inside. And he's looking at me all crazy, like I need to like slow down. I'm looking like, what you gotta prep me for? What am I walking into? What am I walking into? Like, don't tell me you got romance. But he looks me dead in the face and is like, yeah, my girlfriend in here, she's sleep, you know, she pregnant. And I'm like, nah. No. God, boy, like you gotta be egging me, shitting me, because like, what do you mean your pregnant girlfriend's in this apartment complex? Because I'm like, there's no way, no, yikes, like why am I here? Like, I'm sitting there in the parking lot, like.
So you mean to tell me that you brought me all the way from my house, all the way to here, in your girlfriend's car, with the gas she put in that shit, to her motherfucking place, so we can mess around?
The audacity.
I'm sitting there like, and like he getting out the car after he just said that and just walking in nonchalant, like, yeah, pretend like you know, like we just homies. And I'm sitting there looking like, we are just homies, but like at the same time, like there's a little bit more to it, and I didn't know all of your situation. Like, this is the problem with me. I don't ask the right questions, because I should have been asking all of this when we was getting back to being cool, because had I known all this, I probably wouldn't be right here where I'm at in this situation that I've been thrust in. So I'm like, let me just, like, you know, go inside and see what's going on, because I didn't know how to get myself out of that situation. Like, at 19, I didn't know how to get myself out of situations like that. Like, I didn't know how to get myself out of really dumbass situations that I put myself in. So at that point, I just walked in the house, nonchalant, like, you know, and I think, I want to say the girlfriend was already up, but I think she was, like, in the room. And so me and him just sit in the living room. I'm just sitting there looking like, so how is this supposed to work? Because, yeah, I just don't see this working. Like, I just don't see you pulling this off. Like, you think you the man, and you're not. Like, that's where we're wrong. He, you know, trying to fill all up on me. And I see the bedroom door fly. I see the bedroom door light open. And I'm like, so I'm like, this bitch is coming in here. This man is kissing on my neck, and this is gonna turn into a whole brawl. Like, she's pregnant. So there's. I don't fight pregnant people. I don't fight people who cannot defend themselves. And so I'm just like, this is not okay, you know. And like, she's gonna be in so much distress is what I'm thinking. Like, this is not the way to like have a pregnancy. Like, you don't find this type of shit when you're pregnant. So I'm like, oh my fucking god, oh my fucking god, oh my fucking god. This is like, and I'm like, you know, hormones be raising when you're pregnant. Like, she might stab a motherfucker in here. So I'm like, oh shit. So he jumps up off of me and she just walks in, and I'm like, you know, I'm trying to be, you know, discreet, and I'm like, hi, how are you? You know, in my nice, cheery, polite voice. And she's like, you know, hey, and I'm like, bitch, oh, you already don't like me. Sheesh. So I'm like, that already lets me know, bitch, that I ain't fooling you. I ain't fucking fooling you. I ain't fucking fooling you. I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, okay, so when am I going home? Because, ooh, Shorty's wide awake. And Shorty just went in there and got a glass of water out the kitchen. Like, what we gonna do? So he's like, I'm gonna take you home. And I'm like, all right, lit. And then the car, I'm just like, I cannot believe you did that. And he was like, you know, I'm sorry. And I'm like, ain't no motherfucking way you sorry. Because a motherfucker who's sorry would have never did shit. You shouldn't even have to be fucking sorry. Like, that was my whole point. Like, I roasted his ass in that fucking car. Because I was like, Brick, you got some motherfucking nerve. Because how fucking dare you try to play both of us and you ain't even 6 foot. Like, get it together. You're not finna even try us like this. Because you try to play nice. Like, I don't like that. Like, I'm not like a nice guy. Be real. Be real about your bullshit. Because you have bullshit with you. So be real about it. That was that. And long story short, we never talked after that because I was just like, yeah. And he told me, like, I think he like messaged me a couple like years later and told me that like his baby mama had like tried to kill him or something. And I was just like, where's the relevancy to my life in this? Like, to the next, like, I don't give a fuck. That was basically the story time of when old boy tried to grow heavy and basically had me come to his baby mother's house and try to be around Shorty, like, and try to smash me with Shorty in the bedroom. And I was like, you wildin', like, men are wildin'. So I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. Like, I had to let that friend go. He wasn't the right, he was just not a good friend. And so yeah, that's my story. Yeah. So if you guys like this story time, make sure to like. And if you are not a big subscriber of my channel, make sure to subscribe so you can, you know, help my channel grow. Like, come on, like, let's just help my channel grow. And I will see you guys in my next video. Leave me some suggestions down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Toodles. Stay beautiful.